This is what happens to your Google search performance if you have just one decently well-performing TikTok clip. And I'm not even talking about going viral here. Just one video with around 20,000 views, which is not a lot by TikTok terms. Hey, my name is Florian, and in this video series I'm documenting the process of building my startup tutap.io, which is a community-driven website to find the best programming learning resources across the internet. And in this video I want to talk a little bit about how I approach marketing and especially social media marketing for Tutap, and I also want to give you an update on some exciting new changes on the website. This video is sponsored by Zegocloud. Building a voice or video streaming app from scratch is very difficult. Luckily, Zegocloud's web and mobile SDKs make this process easy. They give you ready-made UI kits that you can use to build a fully fledged live streaming app in a matter of minutes. You can build video and audio chat rooms with it, movie or game streaming apps, virtual online classes and much more. They also have a complete text chat SDK with all features that you would expect from a modern chat app, like group chats, private messages, attachments and so on. By using their SDK you can focus on your core business rather than spending time with all the complex low-level functionality. At the same time, all components are customizable, so you can make them work and look exactly as you want. I recommend that you check out their website because they have a huge list of features and you can build a lot of different kinds of apps with it. And the best thing, the first 10,000 minutes every month are completely free. Click the first link in the description to find out more. Okay, let's begin by going through some changes and new features I've added to the website. First of all, I've added 2 new levels to the difficulty level filter. In the past we only had beginner and advanced, now we also have basics and intermediate. Because I realized only having 2 difficulty levels often made it difficult, no pun intended, to find exactly what you need. For example, if I wanted to search for Android beginner tutorials that get me started on the platform and teach me how Android development works and the basics of either Java or Kotlin, then of course I would type in Android in the search and tick beginner. But the problem was, even then I would still see a bunch of tutorials that are beginner level but don't really teach the fundamentals of the language. For example, a recycler view tutorial. It might be suited for beginners, but that's not really what I want to see if I'm an absolute noob that wants to get started with Android, right? Or for example, these Android interview questions. Those are all nice resources for beginners, but they don't teach me the absolute basics, right? This is why I added a separate filter for it, a separate level, which is called basics. Those are tutorials that really get you started with a platform. These are these absolute beginner tutorials. They either start at completely zero programming knowledge or somewhere close to it. And in the same way I've added intermediate just to have a more differentiation between really advanced and difficult tutorials and those that require intermediate knowledge but are not super complex. The second new thing I've added, which I think is really useful and was really overdue, is a negative search operator. So just like in Google we can append a minus in front of a word to exclude it from search. So for example, if I search for React tutorials, and let's remove the filter here, I will also see React Native tutorials because it has the word React in it, but I might not want to see React Native tutorials but only the web React version. So what I can do now is I can just type in -native and every result that contains the word native in it will disappear from the search results. And up here is also this hint that explains the available search operators. Right now it's only this one, but I also want to add more in the future, like for example, like we have in Google these quotation marks where you can search for exact matches rather than searching for each word individually. But this is a topic for the future. And the last new feature I added that I want to talk about here is the new watchlist. So in the past we already had a bookmark section in our profile. So we can bookmark resources and they show up here, right? But I wanted to have a second list for resources that I'm planning to watch in the future, but haven't yet. So it works basically the same as the bookmarks feature, just that we have a separate button for it, this one here, and a separate list where those are saved. So those are resources that I'm planning to go through again, and yeah, I want to have them separate. I think it's really useful. Okay, now let's talk a little bit about marketing. So as I've already talked about in a previous video, I'm of course writing blog posts for TutorBio. Just to improve my search engine rankings, my Google rankings, I'm writing these blog posts to get found by developers basically. So I talk about programming related topics, how to stay focused as a programmer, how to stay in shape as a programmer, some resources I recommend and so on. And these blog posts I put a lot of effort into them. They're very detailed, very elaborate, with some unique insights in my opinion. And I think creating a lot of useful content also helps with the search rankings of the website overall, so that other pages that are not directly related to these blog posts also rank higher in Google search. So I think as a long-term strategy, it just makes sense to create these high quality blog posts because they will help with the Google rankings of TuTab. And a lot of programmers are using Google to answer their questions, so this is where I think a lot of traffic will come from. But this is a very slow process. This is really hard work to write these blog posts, and it also takes a while until they get a good ranking in Google, if at all. And I think this long-term strategy should be combined with a more short-term strategy by using websites like TikTok and Instagram and creating content there as well. This is much faster because here you can get a lot of views on your videos pretty much immediately. You don't have to wait for Google to rank your content. But on the other hand, this type of content doesn't perform for months or even years on end. This is why I like to combine both blog posts and these social media clips. And for the most part, I'm just reposting the same content on TikTok and Instagram. And I think that's really important because sometimes a video performs well on one side, but not so good on the other side. For example, as you can see here, I made this short meme kind of video. It's just a funny video that's not even a minute long. And on Instagram, it reached 122,000 views in, I think, like 2 or 3 days. Even though I have less than 200 followers there. So this just took off here, but the same video on TikTok only reached 13.4 thousand views, which is not quite as much. On the other hand, I have this video here with 20,000 views, and the same video only got 200 something views on Instagram. This is why I like to repost these videos on different platforms. And this is the video here I want to talk about specifically. As you can see here, I don't have amazing views on my videos throughout TikTok. A lot of them bombed completely, basically, like 100 views here. That's really low for a site like TikTok. But then I had this random video here which hit around 20,000 views, and this is basically just an advertisement for TutorBio. It's not funny, it was not super creative, but I introduced TuTab and I made it look interesting. And 20,000 views is not even considered viral. It's decent, but it's not amazing. A lot of people get a few 100,000 or even millions of views on a site like TikTok. But this had a huge effect on the traffic on my website. As you can see in my Google Search Console, we got quite a peak of search clicks on this day, which is a result from this video. And even though this is not a huge amount of clicks, you have to keep in mind that this only counts for people who typed TuTab into Google search and then clicked it. But there are also many other ways to get to the website more easily. There's a link directly on TikTok, which I assume a lot of people used. A lot of people typed tutab.io directly in the browser URL bar, and some of them searched TuTab in Google. But you can see from this peak how much of an impact this actually had. And again, this is just one video with 20,000 views. That's not impressive, it's just decent. This is why I decided really to double down now on TikTok and Instagram stuff and post more clips there. I try to mix some funny videos, some informational videos, and then just some blatant advertisements for TuTab basically, because those tend to bring in the most new users. I think the most important reason why this performed so well and converted so well is because this had a clear call to action. Even at the end, I say and write a little bit later, check out TutorBio. So this is a call to action where really people are told basically what next step to take, and this really helps with conversion. On the other hand, this reel here, this funny video with 100,000 views, even though it got so many clicks, it didn't convert nearly as well. I didn't notice an impact on website clicks or searches at all, actually, from this video. I still think this is very useful just to build an account and get fans, but the videos that really convert are the ones that directly advertise your product or your website. I know that for many people it can be a bit awkward to show yourself on camera and do something funnier, but I'm a shy person myself, and as you can see from this video, which is the same one that got over 100,000 views here, I don't do anything super awkward. I'm not dancing, I'm not doing weird expressions, I'm just filming myself, thinking basically, because this is the joke, but I don't do anything that's really uncomfortable for me. You don't have to start dancing on TikTok or stuff like that. And the videos that advertise TuTab don't show me at all. Here I'm just using some B-roll that I got from pexels.com, so a free video, and then I do some screen recordings and put text over it, and that's basically it. And this also got a few thousand views, and again these convert really well. So yeah, my recommendation is that you try to get used to showing yourself on camera, because these platforms are really useful for marketing. Again, I'm recommending to combine both these platforms for more short-term marketing and elaborate blog posts for the long term, because those will probably stay in Google for years to come. One more thing I wanted to mention is that I try to improve my writing style for my blog posts. One thing I've learned is that you shouldn't write sentences that are too long with too many commas, because those are hard for people to read. So I'm trying to getting used to just writing shorter, more concise sentences that convey the same meaning, the same information. For example, here I wrote, if you work from home and allocate your own work time, I recommend that you set up your own schedule. This schedule will dictate when you work and when you take breaks. In the past I would have written, if you work from home, blah blah blah, I recommend that you set up your own schedule, comma, which dictates when you work and when you take breaks, but those sentences tend to be really difficult to read. So I try to write them more concise, and I think a good rule of thumb is to have them not longer than 24 words or something like that. Not completely sure, but just try to keep them short without making it sound stupid. Here another example, most of your breaks should be short and boring breaks, period. A boring break means that you blah blah, and not most of your breaks should be boring breaks, which means that you do activities, blah blah. You get the hang of it, right? And of course, these videos I'm doing here and uploading to YouTube, this vlog is also marketing for TuTab, because people learn about the website, they get interested in it and hopefully start using it. This is all part of the marketing strategy. It's all about creating content, basically. And some content can be funny or interesting, and some content should be just useful information that teaches people something. So yeah, please check out TuTab.io. You don't have to create an account on the website to use the search functionality, but I still recommend that you create an account to use the watchlist feature, bookmarks feature, to be able to vote on resources and so on. And then I will keep you updated with more videos in this vlog series in the future. I hope this was useful. Have a nice rest of the day. Happy coding and take care.